All right, Southwest Florida, welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live. We're here at the Edison Mall. Yes, that Edison Mall. I know you've never seen the television show here. You've seen us at a lot of places, and this is our first time at the Edison Mall, and it won't be the last. And the reason we're here is for the Southwest Florida Black Expo. And if you haven't noticed my skin, I'm black, and I'm proud of it. And there's no better place for me to have the television show, being on air for 30 years, interviewing over 20,000 people, now in our 30th anniversary, than at the historic Black Expo here at the Edison Mall, Southwest Florida. Shout out to the Edison Mall. Shout out to D. Marchand, who came up with this idea of bringing a Black Expo here. And we've got about 80 vendors to 100 vendors throughout the mall who have their kiosks here. Tonight I'll be hosting the reception for the opening of the event. Will be taking place right here in this place right here. People have already been buying up the tickets. We're sold out. It's a dress white affair. So I'm looking forward to the reception as well. And here in the Edison Mall, we get to meet leaders in our community, and we certainly have some leaders here we're going to get a chance to talk to right now. Jim and Margaret, who are making a difference in our community. So let's slide right over to them. Jim, give your name and title.
Jim Burch, Economic Disaster Recovery Coordinator.
Man, I can't wait to talk about
For
that.
the Planning Council.
For Planning Council.
My name is Margaret Wuerstle. I'm the Executive Director of the Southwest Florida Regional Planning Council.
Before I get started, I see both of you have a table together here. Is it fair to say that your department falls under all of this? Is one big department?
It's one big agency, and Jim's is one program that is run through the Planning Council.
Okay. How many programs go through the Planning Council?
Oh, my.
Roughly. A lot of them that people wouldn't realize?
Yes. Yes.
Over 50?
I'm going to say about 20, 25.
Right. Indirectly, you touch a lot of other things indirectly through that process, right?
Yes.
Big picture it for me. Sesame Street it for me in the audience. What is the Southwest Florida Regional Planning Council?
We are a planning council that is mandated by state statutes. We comprise 6 counties from Sarasota to Collier, Hendry and Glades, Charlotte and Lee. We were originally formed to manage growth in the 6-county region, but we do many other things now. We are working on a updated hurricane evacuation plan. We were funded for Jim's program through the CARES Act to help businesses get back on their feet. We were funded for a food insecurity study to help develop, to get food to people in times of disaster, as well as ordinary times. We are developing a food policy council in Collier County. We staff the local emergency planning committee that sees that all the first responders are trained.
We do a wide range of things, essentially.
Yes, yes.
Let me go to this next question. The fact that all of those things that you just enunciated, and there are many more, we as the general public, we don't necessarily know all of these things are being managed and in process behind the scenes. We only think about it when we need it. You are people who are working on this year-round to keep us safe, also to add to the economic development, and for all of us to live a happy life here in Southwest Florida overall. Is that a fair way to sum it up?
Yes. As a matter of fact, we are a federal economic development district. Mm-hmm. All the regional planning councils, there are 10 in the state of Florida. All of the regional planning council are considered federal economic development districts, and we're funded through EDA.
Now, people who can benefit from you, who don't even realize that, hey, I could have been benefiting from them, and some of the things that she just mentioned right now I could benefit from. How do they tap into your services?
They can go to our website.
Okay.
They can call, they can text.
Call that website out.
www.swfrpc.org.
Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to you. Let me come over here to Jim. Jim, when I see this title, Economic Disaster Recovery Coordinator for the Southwest Florida Regional Council, I'm like, man, how do you get some sleep? Economic Disaster Recovery Coordinator. Break that down for me. Economic disaster recovery. You're dealing with hurricanes and everything, aren't you?
You effectively you could, but the economic in front of all that gives you the first hint that we have had a pandemic going on, which has devastated business in the underserved communities that was already devastated to begin with, and also the other communities. So the economic disaster coordinator is a person that has evolved over time, that takes all of the data, as much data as they can find, to try and figure out exactly what we could do to help people recover, and then to help people be resilient later, so that when the next calamity comes along, there will be some plans in place that will help those people mitigate their circumstances and maybe not fall so far as they did this time.
Right. So any type of disaster in the region will fall under that, especially if it's impacted the economy in some type of way, getting the economy back up and rolling, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Give me a for example of some things that are happening right now to get the economy back up and rolling.
Well, right now, it's easy to see right now what's happening, what's really happening, and I'll tell you this, for those out there that are listening, SBA.gov. Just go, if you find a computer somewhere, go and look at that. There's a lot of funding opportunities for people out there to help them sustain some of the losses that they've been affected by over the last 12 months. It's very important. I think that a lot of those funds that we see there are also forgivable type funds. In other words, you may be able to acquire some kind of funding that will help you mitigate some of the losses you've suffered the last year of business. If you do the things that are asked of you and required of you to do, then those loans could also be forgivable loans. The reason for all that, of course, is this. What you lost in the last year is not something you're going to gain back in business. The next 12 months could be great, but you won't gain back what you lost. What you can do with these funds is potentially gain back some of that loss and be stronger in the future months to come ahead. So I think there's some very good opportunities. If there was ever a need across the board, all colors, all races, all ethnicities.
I'm going to get to that. Right.
This is the place to get it.
Okay, so let me hit a couple of bullet points here.
Sure.
One, I think it's PPA money or something like that. PPP.
Yes.
When we hear that PPP, it fits right into your wheelhouse, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is our wheelhouse.
Right. So we hear PPP. We can zoom in right there as it relates to Southwest Florida. That's where the clearinghouse is for PPP. Am I saying that right?
I wouldn't say that it was the clearinghouse for the funds, but it's clearly the funds are nationwide. If you go to SBA.gov in the Florida district, that is the clearinghouse of the PPP funds. One thing I think is important to say, that's this. The PPP funds started some time ago. I know some people that actually got some of the PPP funds. I also know people by going out and doing some field studies. By field studies, I mean going into small businesses and talking to people. And there were people there that said, essentially, I wanted no more than $2,000 or $3,000. That's all I needed, but I needed it desperately. The PPP funds and the structure that was set up was not for them. It was for $500,000, for $25,000, for $50,000. So a lot of people kind of got left by the wayside. Some people got money and big money very quickly. Now the newest iteration of the PPP funds, this is the American Rescue Act right now, has now taken into account those people that were left behind. Those are the people we're trying to target right now.
I would think that would be one of the reasons that you find it very important that you be here at the Southwest Florida Black Expo, because you can connect with a lot of small businesses right here as well. We can get the message out. Not that you necessarily knew that you would be sitting here on Lead Pits Live, which is going to get the message out in a broader way outside of the mall and everything else. So I'm glad that we were able to connect. I'll be coming back to you on other questions, but I want to hit you with one more question before I slide back over to Margaret. And the question is, you said that underserved or people who didn't get, and we have heard many times that minorities in particular got left out of that whole process. We've heard from the White House that is a group that we're going to make sure gets tapped into. Is that something on your list of things to do to make sure that the minority community, disadvantaged businesses, people who got left out know and get this message out that we are here and we have opportunities to help you get that money?
We certainly try. What we also know is that this organization, the RPC that we're from, is a very small organization. So what we found out really quickly was that a lot of people were not getting the communication, the not understanding or hearing that there was help available. So what we decided was that the quickest thing and the easiest thing and the most efficient thing we could do was try and get out as much information to as many people as we could and ask those people to also help us disseminate that information.
Gotcha.
And that's what we're doing. That seems to be working. What I also figured out, Lee, was a long time ago, I was not going to be able to save the world as much as I tried. So it's almost like an addiction of some sort. It's one day at a time. It's also one person at a time. So if I can get one person helped, and then two people helped, and three people, whatever the numbers are, they're better off than they were the day before, and I feel better about that.
Sounds great.
That's where that's our motto. That's kind of where we work from.
We're talking a lot about small businesses, Margaret. Small businesses, as defined by you guys, are what and how important is the resurgence of small businesses to the Southwest Florida economic recovery?
Well, we have our own definition of small businesses, but normally when you're applying for funds, you're going to have to go by what the federal definitions are or the state definitions are. We're looking at businesses that have maybe 2 employees, maybe 5 employees. Maybe they
or
work
sole
for
proprietors.
Sole proprietors.
Like me?
That need help just to stay afloat. And it's essential that we help these people get back on their feet and stay viable businesses. They're the backbone
Right.
of our economy.
And people don't have, a lot of times people don't realize that it is the small businesses that really are the backbone of the American economy in Southwest Florida.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's exactly right. So we're trying to get that message out there. And one of the things we do is we advocate for the needs that are here and of these small businesses to our federal representatives, because as this Federal Economic Development District, we have a representative that we meet with regularly. And so we're telling them, look, we don't need help for businesses that have 50 employees. We need it for people who have 5 or 2 employees. And those are the people that don't get access to the money that's coming down. So we're trying to change the way that things are happening, or at least letting our partners know that this is the problem we're facing and the businesses are facing.
With Southwest Florida being down here on the west coast of the state of Florida, on the Gulf of Mexico, to a certain degree we're kind of like hidden, kind of like quiet. We don't have that big city like Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Pensacola, Tallahassee. We don't have that big, monstrosity. Do we get the kind of attention? Do they know we are down here? At the federal level and the state level, do we get respect? They appreciate what Southwest Florida adds to this economy.
In my opinion, we do.
Okay.
We have some very influential people and representatives in our region. And our region does pull together quite well over issues like water quality and transportation. When there's a need, these groups come together and they really do speak, and our representatives hear us and take the message up the chain.
Well, we're so fortunate to have you two as a part of representing us and speaking us up for us down here and keeping the message pounding. Now, how are we right now as it relates to the recovery? Are we starting, either one of you can take this question, are we starting to see a tick back up? You don't have to quote me a lot of stats, but where are we now? Let's say 8 months ago we were at the bottom. Are we in the third up, halfway back? Are we still down at the bottom? I'm just going to open it up. You guys can go. Boom.
Yeah, the answer is yes, without a doubt. We're certainly our situation has improved drastically over 8 months ago. The vaccinations have helped a lot as well. So there's a lot of things happening right now. People here have this is a very resilient area. People, they bend but they don't break, and so business has been profoundly affected. But people are always ready to move forward.
Gotcha.
And they are moving forward right now.
The recovery money, grants, and all those things that you spoke about, I know people can go to the website, but I want to get some basic Sesame Street things right here. Do they have a date certain that you have to get your paperwork in, or would this be ongoing until somebody says it's over?
No, there's definitely date certains. The original date, in fact, was I believe March 31st. Now that's been extended to May 31st. So
it's right around the corner.
Yeah, there's no time to dawdle. People have to get on these websites, go to our website, look in there. Within the SBA, let's say SBA.gov, there's a thing called Lender Match. You can go in there, lendermatch.com. It'll tell you the local lenders in the area that are working with the SBA, with the PPP loans, so they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they have to do to meet the requirements to
Now, earlier you said that $3,000 loan, you gave an example. We were not set up for a $3,000 loan. Is it more user-friendly, Margaret?
A lot of the people, like the person I was talking about, those small amount of money, some of the people that are, let's say, ex-felons or whatever.
Okay.
Some people have now been included that were not included in the original turnout of the PPP.
Ex-felons were not included if they had a business?
Absolutely not.
They could have a successful business and they were ex-felon?
That's correct.
That's crazy.
That's correct. Now, but
y'all hear this, people at home? Go ahead.
Nobody understood that. Nobody understood it because it wasn't being done. Now, for sure, it is implicitly or explicitly implied that these people can now qualify to get the loans and the funding. So Joe Biden's administration has now taken some of the barriers away. There's still some complexity in trying to get things done and get the money out there, not because people are trying to make it difficult. It's just it is a massive program from a high level to get down to a much lower level, and it takes time and effort to do that. That's why one real quick. That's why the lendermatch.com is very important. People have to go there because let somebody else that understands that whole system, let them help you get that thing.
Okay, go ahead,
so
Margaret.
Lendermatch.com. And it hasn't been completely rolled out yet. It's still in the process of being rolled out. That's why we haven't seen the changes that we want to see yet. We're still waiting.
But how can it not be completely rolled out and you guys just said that the deadline is going to be in May? Which deadline are we talking about?
That was the first one. There's a whole
a
whole new Recovery Act.
Gotcha. Let's slow this down.
Yeah.
Who wants to take it?
Jim.
Go.
Well, May 31st is the deadline for applications. June 31st is also the deadline for the federal government to process the applications. Now think about that. The original deadline was in April, and then in March, and extended to May. So we have it's been extended. I suspect that as things go along, the timeline will either be extended,
right,
or the money will be exhausted, because those are the two catch points that determine how long that program lasts. The idea is there is X number of dollars out there, and it's a lot. It's a lot of money. And the idea, of course, is to get people on their feet. That's all. Simple as that. So May 31st may now be the deadline. That may be extended, but that may not. So for those out there now, use the deadline that's there now, May 31st. Go to lendermatch.com, get those people to help you, and get the funding you need.
When you say there's a lot of money out there, is that money carved up by regions? Certain amount of money is going to be allocated for a region, or can somebody gobble all of that money up
No.
in another part of the state because they are quick on the paperwork? You know the answer. I want to get you talking to.
My understanding is that there's a large portions that are going to the counties and the cities, and it's based on need and how they were impacted by the pandemic.
Okay.
So larger cities may have more than, say, a rural county or city. I don't know exactly where it's
come
going.
back to Jim.
I haven't seen the numbers. This much is going to Lee County. This much is going to Charlotte County. I haven't seen anything like that come out yet.
Gotcha. It's all based on need.
Yes.
It's based on need, but also the second round, which we're in now, the American Rescue Act. One of the themes of that Rescue Act is local and state governments, because that is where the impacts have been felt more than anybody else. So money goes to the state, but much of the money goes directly to local governments, county and city governments. So rental assistance, for example. A lot of people have had trouble trying to pay their rents, for example.
Mortgage assistance was there too. Waivers, anyway, the banks.
There are so many different things because people have told them what they need. The federal government is responding to what the people have said they need, and that's one of them, rental assistance. That's going directly to cities and to counties. So there's a lot of money out there. No, it does not go to the state. The state disperses this and that and that. Does not go to the county disperses that. It goes to everybody. And the intent for local governments, if you will, would be to also help the burden of local governments. Because remember, local governments have put money out as well to try and help people. They are also feeling the pinch. They have gotten less tax revenue over the last year. So there is money to try and help them recover as well as the people in their areas. Mm-hmm. Now, some of the money that's there, the opportunities to try and cure some of the inequities that we've seen over the past many, many years is there, and the desire to do so is also there for many, many people. So there are so many different moving parts to this. But the one moving part that anybody that's listening out there now that is a small business that needs help, lendermatch.com, SBA.gov, find out how to get a hold of what you need to make your business viable. Because, you mentioned something earlier. This is the Black Expo. There's no doubt about that.
Southwest Florida.
We're clearly not black people, but we are Southwest Floridians, and we are regional, interested people. We would like to see everybody succeed. It'll strengthen the economy of the entire region. The federal government recognizes that. We need to help the local people understand the federal government recognizes that and actually go and access the funds that are there.
They're listening to you right now, and I hear you, and we're going to make sure we push that message. Final question to you, Margaret. A year from now, when I'm sitting here with you and Jim, what is your hope that would have been accomplished as it relates to this topic we're talking about a year from now we're sitting here?
A year from now, I would like to see, all businesses opened up. I'd like to see small businesses thriving again, growing, adding, employees, expanding their businesses. And we can put the pandemic behind us, hopefully.
Yeah, and some businesses will never come back, though, right? We accept that premise.
I have accepted
That's
that
sad.
that
That's
they
sad.
won't. But there may be new ones.
Right, okay. And some businesses may pivot and go into other businesses.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You want to add any final comments, Jim?
Only that when you say some business may not come back, this is a good expo to demonstrate small business is very resilient. The people that run these small businesses always come back to do something, whether or not they're
You're
doing.
right.
I've been
They
in
always
politics.
do.
I've been a business owner. I've been all those different things. So I understand that much, that people are resilient and strong enough to come back and do something, and the opportunity is there. That's, I think, what these programs that we're working with right now are designed to do. They're trying to keep people lifted up long enough for them to say, okay, I can't go this way, but I can go that way. I just need a little help to get there.
All right. And that was a campaign that you were talking about. We're going to do our early luncheon of that campaign. Something about, you were telling me about a campaign
Yes.
Say that slogan. Yeah, we've started off now.
Florida Fresh.
Tell what that means. They're going to hear a lot about it on Leap Is Live. What's Southwest Florida Fresh?
Southwest Florida Fresh, choose local, choose fresh, is a new campaign to help our small growers in the area. We're encouraging people to buy local food, buy from their local growers. If they go to our website, we have a list of all the growers, what's in season, where they can buy these things. But we need to help our small growers. They've been hurting since the Irma 2017, right, and the pandemic hit them very hard.
Southwest Florida Fresh. You heard it right here on Leap Is Live. Well, it's been a pleasure having both of you on the show. I was expecting to talk to you for about 12 minutes. We went to about 26. It was so interesting, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you guys on a lot of the things that you're trying to get out in the future, okay?
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back. Hello, Southwest Florida. Thanks for watching Leap Is Live. Of course, I'm Lee Pitts. I hope you enjoy that particular show, but you can always catch us here on YouTube. Just click on the subscribe button down there. That way you can get your Leap Is Live on demand when you want it and how you want it. We also encourage you to watch our show on Fox 4 and connect with us on all our social media platforms. Just type in Leap Is Live.